This particular motion. I believe it is long overdue, but I think we are there. Mr. Speaker, I must take this opportunity to give my condolences to the families that have lost their dear ones. We have lost great leaders. Some people say youths are future leaders. They are not future leaders. From what happened last week, they are leaders of today, Mr. Speaker. I must accept that. Secondly, I wish to wish well those who are in hospitals to have quick recoveries. Mr. Speaker, I remember yesterday when we had a brief meeting, I asked the meeting, what is the end result of this particular debate? And I remember, having been around for a while, we will normally debate day in, day out, but the result is zero. And I hope this one is not going to be zero. Mr. Speaker, what we have seen, it must have taught us a lesson that we need to learn from the happenings in this country, both national and the county level. Mr. Speaker, I wish to congratulate the young boys and girls who have actually volunteered, who have sacrificed their lives, their time to put things right. They are actually great leaders, Mr. Speaker, according to me. Mr. Speaker, I remember there were several challenges on that particular Tuesday where people were running for their lives. I have watched a very serious young girl on a YouTube last evening where she was actually confronting a police officer and telling him, do whatever I want to do, but I'm here for the right of Kenyans, I'm here for my right. She must be a hero, and I hope her name is called Shakila. She's a great leader and she's a hero in this country. Congratulations, Shakila, though I don't know you. And the rest of young boys and girls who have volunteered. Secondly, Mr. Speaker, I must congratulate the President of this country for having listened to these young boys and girls. If he actually didn't return back that particular bill to the National Assembly, we would have been in a different situation in this country today. I think, Mr. Speaker, we need to look at our neighbors. South Sudan, North Sudan, Somalia. Those are the countries with very few tribes. But in Kenya, we have 45 tribes. If for any reason that we turn against each other, I'm telling you, we'll finish each other within a week or even less. But may God forbid that, Mr. Speaker, and that is the reason why we should actually congratulate and be happy for whatever has happened. And the head of state actually agreed to listen to us and also to the youths of this country, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, from the happenings, I believe we must do a lot of consultation whenever we make a decision. Because if we don't consult each other, if we make decisions unilaterally without consulting, then we'll see what happens from what happened on Tuesday and the years to come, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, those youths who are actually on the road as a result of frustration, depression, they are our kids, Mr. Speaker. Most of them, especially in our counties, you will see they are into drugs. Mr. Speaker, in Kenya today, if you look for a job, employment, there are kids with even PhD. There are kids with masters. There are kids with actually the first degrees. Mr. Speaker, unless you pay certain token, you will not get a job in government offices. And I think those ministries need to be overhauled. We need to tell each other the truth, Mr. Speaker. There is no merit in actually one getting a job. That's why those kids who are actually frustrated and annoyed with us leaders. Mr. Speaker, you look at the budget of this country. When you look at the budget, it is brought to the House, both National Assembly and the Senate. We pass those budgets. The 85 that is left at the national level, Mr. Speaker, you don't know how it is spent. You don't know how it is implemented, even the projects that are there. You are either politically correct or not, Mr. Speaker. You are either influential or not. You either have a population or not, Mr. Speaker. Everything is actually looking at the future of politics of this country. Where are we heading as a country? Because if I don't support the government of the day, automatically I will not get development. That is the position in this country, and we need to correct that, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, when the current government leadership or executive came into office, I visited several offices to find out the kind of projects that are going to be implemented in my county. I went to a certain office and I was told the project in this area is complete 100%. And I asked the PS or the cabinet secretary, are you serious when you are saying this project is 100% complete? And I was there the other day. Mr. Speaker, you can imagine a project that is done 40%. What is in a government office is 100% complete. In certain instances, those projects are not even there. So what I'm saying here, Mr. Speaker, is that we need to look at the way we are carrying out ourselves and actually even sharing the national cake. Those who are at the national level, you need to go down and see what is happening or how those projects are being implemented, and again, how those projects are actually benefiting the areas and the communities that are intended to be supported. Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, let me come back to this house. I've been around for a while. I was in the first Senate. I was in the second Senate. But the current happenings, we must call a spade a spade. You can actually bring a statement to this house. It takes 6 months for a committee to look at it and give you feedback. Mr. Speaker, you can imagine I'm being confronted even in certain committees. Is it really relevant for you to bring this statement to this committee? When the Speaker on the floor of the House has referred a statement to a committee, I'm being challenged in the committee. A member of committee or secretariat calls my county and tells the governor, what is wrong with your senator? She's always bringing statement to our committee. Mr. Speaker, I think when we correct others, we should also correct ourselves. We should correct ourselves. There is a lot of problem within our committees. Things are not done properly. I can enumerate committees where I have challenges in my counties. Up to now, Mr. Speaker, nobody has responded to those statements. And I don't want to embarrass the committees that I have statements before them. Sometimes you can imagine you are just send the response and nobody bothers how to deal with that particular statement. I wish we could go back to where we started in the first Senate, where responses for those statements are brought back to the House so that everybody can listen and understand those statements and even ask further questions, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, the reason why I am telling this House or ourselves, when we actually point fingers to other individuals or other institutions, we also have challenges here. We must actually correct ourselves. Mr. Speaker, going back to the counties, I have sat in the committees of the House from 2013 up to date. Mr. Speaker, When we are talking of national government, we should also talk about county government. Mr. Speaker, the budget we fight for here, Mr. Speaker, when it goes to the county, nobody wants you to talk about it. Nobody says senators have fought for this budget, so we should listen to them. Nobody understands the role of senators is not to carry out development, but to carry out oversight, Mr. Speaker. And that has to be made clear. Because you will see that you are bashed by governors also and members of parliament. I have brought this road. I have done ABCD. What has Senator done for you? Those are the issues we need to ask ourselves. How are we going to be felt as senators? I've seen people from yesterday's debate bashing Senate. Senate should be scrapped. Those debates we have had. But I think we must make a reality why we exist as a Senate, Mr. Speaker. I sit in Public Accounts Committee where, Mr. Speaker, you will see that all the counties have gone above the 13% ceiling of employment. Every governor comes in, he will recruit 200, 300, 1,000, and nobody is questioning, Mr. Speaker. Development is not taking place, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, for example, my county, 50% of the budget in the last financial year, this actually finished financial year, has not been spent. When you have pending bills in the counties, people are suffering. They have supplied counties. You go to the controller of budget, requisition is made, Mr. Speaker. That requisition comes with the name of Fatuma Dullo. But when it goes to CRF, is another person who is paid. Maybe Senator Kajwang is the one paid. These things are happening, Mr. Speaker. Do you want to challenge me?
Proceed, Senator. Don't be
Mr. Speaker, it's happening in the eyes of COB, it is happening in the eyes of Treasury. Nobody is bothering. Those who have supplied, Mr. Speaker, are suffering. Those who are owed pending bills, they are not paid. I remember 2019, there was a decision made by this House to stop actually budget going to the counties until they clear pending bills. And they all rushed, Mr. Speaker, to clear those pending bills. And I think that decision has to be made also, maybe next financial year, so that Kenyans can get their money and also service is delivered to Kenyans. Mr. Speaker, if I may look at my county, yesterday I moved a motion to stop budget going to Isiolo County. I was not a fool when I actually drafted that motion. We have instances, I remember 2019 or even 2015, I think Senator Khalwale also tried one time. When the governors refused to appear before Public Accounts Committee.
Majority Leader, you may consult, but keep it on the down low. Proceed, Senator.
Mr. Speaker, we push governments to allocate budget to counties. And when you summon a governor to the committee of the Senate, he will tell you, I am not answerable to anybody. I am not actually obligated to respond to anybody. It's in public domain. We went as a Senate committee to Isiolo. The end result is we all were abused in public. All of us. And actually some of the senators who came there, why can't you oversight Homa Bay? I remember Senator Kajwang being told, instead of coming to Isiolo. We have a right as senators to go to any county. I thought I have 20 minutes, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I brought a statement on the floor of the House regarding a morgue. Up to date, that morgue is not operational. The governor refused to appear before health committee. Mr. Speaker, after the committee has issued a warrant of arrest to order to DPP and IG, the governor rushes to get a court order to stop committee of the House operating. And we need a ruling from you, Mr. Speaker. I have never seen where a governor can stop decision of particular committee. We had a P committee where actually Senator Olekina was abused in a committee. And banging of the tables happened. What kind of respect do we have? There are no structures in those counties, Mr. Speaker. I'm not talking about Isiolo only. If you look at the budget forums are not working. Supplementaries are carried. Members of public don't know. Mr. Speaker, I think we need to have a serious discussion as far as the counties are concerned. Mr. Speaker, if I am allowed, of course the law allows 50% to stoppage. We must actually have a lesson learned by certain counties that are disrespecting this particular house. There must be consequences. Because if we don't have consequences, like some guys in Isiolo Senate, where will Senate take us? We will come, listen to them, we take photos with them, see them outside the tent. That is the end of it. That is the story that is there in the counties, Mr. Speaker. We must be held accountable, Mr. Speaker. For example, Mr. Speaker, a county that is getting a budget of 5.2 million, it's recruiting 32 chief officers. 32 chief officers. And the governor says, nobody will ask me. He has over 20 advisors when the law allows only 3. 20. Every department has advisor. So what is the use of having laws in this country? It has no meaning. And I can see the kind of frustrations that these young boys and girls are going through. The demonstration we had here was similarly in my county, Isiolo. We lost some young boys and girls. Poleni sana. Mr. Speaker, after the demonstration, some youths are hired to confront the peaceful demonstration that were done by GenZs. Can you imagine a governor rushing and tweeting and saying, Fatuma wanted to ban the county office? Why would I ban county office? Can I assist him to ban evidence where he has misappropriated funding? Why would I? Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we have a lot of challenges. If this debate that we are carrying out today will solve the kind of problems we have, both nationally and at the county level, Mr. Speaker, then we have something to smile. And I will advise GenZs, yes, you have made noise. Yes, you have been heard. Put your structures in place to hold everybody accountable. And I must congratulate you today, we didn't have demonstration. Congratulations. But come together and make sure that whatever you have actually listed down have been implemented. Mr. Speaker, we have a lot of challenges. I don't see why we should even allocate money to counties. Our mothers today are carrying drums of water on their backs when we have budgets, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Dullo, 2 minutes to wind up your thoughts.
Mr. Speaker, Most of the kids in my county, they're actually learning under trees. What happens when it rains? They don't go to school. Mr. Speaker, hospitals, there are no dispensaries that are operating, no drugs, no ambulances. Our mothers are dying on those rough roads trying to get service delivery as far as health is concerned, Mr. Speaker. So let me urge this House, whatever discussions we're having here, we must have a solution to it. And as far as actually sending the budget to Isiolo County, until the governor of Isiolo accepts and respects the role of the Senate, and I think any other county, we should actually not release more than 50% of the budget for the benefit of staff going to those counties, because we deserve that respect as a Senate, and also hold those governors accountable, because what we are sending them is not actually realized. Imagine, Governor, Treasury of Isiolo is operated in Nairobi. Procurement is operated in Nairobi. And nobody is bothered. And people here in this House, they are saying, why is Senator Dullo so annoyed with Isiolo County? I have a reason. I feel the pain of my people. That's why they have elected me to this House. Mr. Speaker, let's put our acts together. This country we all belong to. There are so many people who are yearning to come and settle in Kenya. We don't have another country. Can we sit down, do proper consultation, and ensure that our country has moved forward? I thank you.
Senator Mofire.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Let me start by thanking